Recording and progress.
Recording. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lost Legion. I know it's been a while. We just got back from LVO, took a week off because, my God, were we all tired from that event. Uh,
Daniel was a mummy.
yeah, seriously. We got Roman and we got Jose today. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Yo,
All right,
It's
guys.
too
So
early for me.
tell me about it.
way
I think
too
it's too early
early.
for any of us.
It's so cold too. I'm right next to my sliding glass door,
Oh,
so
the hell no.
it's all good though.
So yeah, guys, let's talk about LVO. I kind of
Yeah.
want to do this twofold. We'll talk about our experience, talk about our time there, how we have fun, and
How about we
then
do the timeline leading up to it, like getting picked up, going there, and then the event itself, and then the way
oh
back.
yeah. I'm down. I'm down with that. I also want to talk about two games, each of us two games. One that you had the fun, or the one that was most memorable to you, and then one that took you out. Because we
All right.
all, unfortunately, spoiler alert, did not win LVO. I did not win LVO this year, but that's okay. We had a lot of fun in the process.
Yeah, yeah.
So, who wants to go first?
All right. So I woke up early morning, and then my buddy dropped me off at Jose's, and I thought I'd be the last one there, and then I was actually the first one there.
Yep.
And then
Uh,
JR rolled up in his duct tape car.
yep. My
I mean gorilla tape,
front
my
bumper
bad.
falling off.
Hey, actually it was on. It was on.
Yeah.
The tape worked.
Uh, then the one we thought was going to be the other is Daniel was the latest one.
Daniel's late.
I
Yeah.
was telling Jose because his wife rolled up, and
Mm.
I couldn't tell from a distance. Like I didn't know what kind of car Daniel and his wife had, so they roll up, and I'm like, I only see a woman. I'm like, oh shoot, did Daniel's wife forget Daniel at home? Like,
Dropped off his stuff. Here's the
yeah,
stuff.
stuff. Oh, I forgot Daniel at home. We'll be back.
Yeah,
Oh
man, it
man,
Yeah.
was fun. We all got into Jose's car. Car. Jose's car's got the hookup with the Wi-Fi and
yeah, I had
everything. And
Wi-Fi.
good.
Wi-Fi was
Heated
comfy, plenty of space to store stuff too. He had his little smuggling freaking
the
compartment.
Idaho. So what the Idaho is that in the back of my car, right where the spare tire goes, before you get to the spare tire, there's like a
Storage
two
compartment,
foot
yeah.
2 foot like compartment. And the reason me and my wife call it the Idaho is because when we go to like questionable areas, we throw all the expensive stuff in there because people are just trying to look for a quick hit. So when they look at that, they see that compartment like, oh, it's probably just a spare tire, and they leave it alone.
Right.
So we were actually able to squeeze some more stuff in there. So we had a good little
JR's
setup right there.
gallon of distilled
Toolbox.
water. Oh, on the toolbox, yeah.
Got to make sure I have my sleep pap so that way I get plenty of
Yeah.
sleep. I think I was the only one that got enough sleep because of that machine.
Because
That's the
like
only one.
Daniel. Poor
Poor Daniel.
Daniel.
We're talking about it yesterday. I think the night he slept with you, he woke up so dead. I think that was Sunday morning too. He woke up so dead and he was like, I've never slept with another man. I'm so exhausted. I think it was very uncomfortable, which I feel bad, but it's also very funny. I've bunked with
Uh,
people all the time. I'm used to splitting rooms and stuff. And again, it was cool that Jose slept on the couch because we were able to cycle it to where everybody slept on their own one of the nights.
Yeah.
oh man. Funnest
I
So
part
wonder,
about
yeah,
that couch
I
was
wonder if
my
he
gut
was.
hanging over. And I almost fell.
Jose's gut was hanging off the couch and gravity was pulling him down.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Jared?
I wonder if he was uncomfortable because he was right by the AC unit and we had it blaring.
Oh
And I
yeah.
wonder if
No,
like
because that AC unit was
I was about to say
terrible.
the AC wasn't
I
even
was,
working,
yeah,
dude.
bro, I was
probably where
sweaty
you
as
guys were sleeping
hell.
because it was far away. He was right next to it, so maybe he's like feeling
I
all.
was next to it
But
too
no,
though that
even
other
you
Oh
night,
yeah,
were,
you were.
yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
still sweating. So I don't
Jay, you
know,
were
dude.
you were close to it too, and you were like, man, this AC
It
sucks.
does suck. It was
So
horrible.
yeah, let's continue the things. We got onto the car, pumped gas in Bakersfield, or yeah, right? Bakersfield? No,
No.
past it in SEMA. Yeah, that one place with
Acima.
the water,
Oh
the
my
urinal that
God.
looks like a water
So
feature.
so we're pulling
Oh
up. We're
yeah.
pulling up and Roman's like, "Oh, there's a waterfall you could pee on." I didn't know that was a thing. I thought he was kidding. Not now on top of that, not only did I think he was kidding, let's say there was a waterfall, which there was. I thought it was like a discreet like urinal thing. Like I didn't know what I was about to walk into. So they're pumping gas. I'm having a smoke, and then I'm just like, you know what? I gotta go pee. Let's go check this waterfall out. I walk in and there's one stall, and then there's this ginormous waterfall that smells like 1,000 dudes' urine, and I'm like, fuck it, I guess I'm gonna go. So
This is what we're doing. Yeah.
I'm going, and then I'm staring at the water because it looks like a waterfall, and the only thing going through my mind is like the water coming down into back into the urinal, like, is that like free flowing water, or is that urine being recycled over? So
Oh
I'm
my
finishing up
god.
my business, and some dude walks in. He's all, "What the hell?" He's like, "A waterfall?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I looked at him. I go,
Everybody was surprised.
I looked at him. I'm like, "Well, when in Rome, do as the Romans." He's like, "I'm in America. I'm not in Rome at all." And I'm like, "Oh, that's how you feel about that." So I walked out, and then my knees felt kind of like soggy, and I'm like, "Did I pee on my knees? Like what?" For a splashback from the like, I didn't get it. I walked out and I was just so concerned. The Roman's like looking at me. I'm like, there's a fucking waterfall in there.
And Jose's over here ripping burners on the freaking gas station too, flicking his little butt at the gas pump. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
It's not worth living anymore.
Is that why you walked away? Is that why you
Check
walked
that
We
one
away
almost
off the
from
ran
the
out of
fight?
bucket
gas.
list.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Uh
What about
huh.
you? Peggy Sue? Peggy Sue was pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
Peggy
Peggy
keep
Sue.
Sue's.
remembering that.
Dig
That
it.
was cool, man. Walking around, checking everything out too. They had a lot of cool stuff with a lot of fun memorabilia. The food was pretty decent. And then what was I gonna say? Oh, at SEMA when we are waiting there, that's where I realized I didn't bring Lim Viz. I brought
Oh
45
yeah.
positions. So then I'm panicking. I'm like, dude, am I really about to buy a core set or a freaking
Horse.
yeah,
Jay,
I'm
open the thing to let Daniel, and he just woke up. He said he misses a lot.
All right.
He's like, dude, I hope he looks all mummified.
it's like
He's wrapped up in the blanket like ET.
talking about Daniel. Daniel needed the range
Yeah,
sticks
he needed the
too.
range sticks, and
So
that
I
helped
was
you
like, oh,
out.
I
I don't
hope
know.
he
I don't think
finds
he
it.
needed it. I think he just wanted it because
No, he
uh
broke his range sticks the other
but I mean you can
night.
Yeah,
still like connect it and pretend.
no. So pre
You're holding it like
LVO.
millimeters apart, right? Like,
So
no, I got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Just like, hey, I still got range, right?
Yeah.
yeah. Dude, so pre LVO, I was trying so hard not to spend $30 on the kit. And my range ruler was all like fucking
We're
defunct and
playing and
stuff.
Jose broke it.
I go, man, I just need this to last till after LVO. And Roman's like,
Like,
just buy a new one. I'm like, bro, I don't want to spend the money. I'm like, I'm fine. It's all snapped like right in my hands. And Roman's like, yeah, so you want that last kit or what? I'm like,
because there
dang.
was only one
But
more left. But I was hoping to God, I was like, oh, please, Daniel, find an essentials kit because I need that limb is so bad.
yes.
Oh my God, dude. Which I was gonna bring up. How did everyone prepare for LVO? Like when it came to building your list, getting your stuff together, transportation, and all that. What were your thoughts going into it on carrying all your stuff?
Mine was pretty
Uh
easy because I just had the armor bag
the tackle box.
Yeah,
and the tackle box, like the that's it. And that
dude, you
was
were
easy
carrying
transport.
so much stuff with you the first day, and I
Oh,
was like,
I know.
why don't you just leave it in the room? Like, just take what you need because there's so like there's not a lot of walking, but there is. And then you got to keep track of extra stuff as well. The bigger it is,
Yeah. It was more or less like that was a good idea because once I took it out, I was able to put it in that bag and then just carry
yeah.
that around. But it was heavy as fuck. I was like, ugh,
Yeah, dude. No, I get it.
ugh.
Daniel was like, "We'll just leave the stuff here. I'm fine. I'm comfortable with people, just."
Just partially mugging me.
I know, right?
Uh
And then even after he found out about somebody's stuff, he was like, "I don't care."
yeah.
Like, I don't want to carry it with me.
If it's
So
if it's that
so
important,
Yeah, for
so
reals.
prep just droids, F droids. So
I got a
so
million of
prep
them.
prep for me was like started out with like high hopes. I'm like, my first competition, I'm gonna kill it. I'm going awesome. And then I got 2 games in. One of them was with the new rules before the event. And my
Yeah.
standards dropped to like I just want to be good. I just want to do decent.
Yeah,
But
you brought that up too. Like the new rules. How did everybody feel about the new rules getting changed a week beforehand? Do you think that affected your
oh
list
yeah,
building,
yeah.
all
I
that?
don't think it affected my list building so much as it affected. I think it affected my games a lot significantly because I think what
the last one,
my takeaway
you got to talk about that because I was so dirty.
my takeaway from this event was
Respectfully.
that the define the terrain step is more important than it has ever been. because you can,
It's
define the
gaming.
terrain to give you advantage.
It's
Dude,
so
Which is,
everything's
gaming.
so
yeah, it's
subjective
too
too. You can
gaming.
be
Yeah.
like, this grass gives heavy cover. Like what?
Yeah, yeah. It's just that's my takeaway is I need to get better at it, but I feel bad because it's just like I'm kind of like have to disagree with you on stuff when in the old rules it was pretty clear what it was and you
Yeah,
didn't have to.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
that
like you
was
can tell,
frustrating.
like you couldn't make a square area terrain a grass heavy cover. Like it's grass, bro. It's tall
Yeah.
grass, is open, whatever. And they're like,
Mhm.
nah, well, we will say it's this. I'm like, I guess, dude. Like you said, it's very gaming, it's very subjective, but it matters in a competitive setting. Dude, my list definitely got hit. One with the points updates, vigilance was no more a thing with Vader because it just went up too much, which was rough because Vader got taken out 2 of the 3 games I played, I want to say. And then yeah, the new updates and stuff. It just changed everything up. And then in between my list, coming out with my list, they changed the ruling on some command cards. And yeah, dude, every little bit of rules that came out and got clarified, my list just got torn up more and more and more.
To
Like
be
it is
honest,
what it
though,
is.
for what we did and what we performed, we did a pretty good job, despite us only having 10 days to learn the new rules. So
Yeah.
I don't feel too bad getting bamboozled on some stuff because I'm just like,
Well, and everybody else is dealing with it too, right?
yeah,
It'd be rough if they're like, nah, only people from California have to deal with this.
yeah, right.
What
So
about
what?
you? What about you, Daniel?
I mean, for me, yeah, I had a similar experience to you, Roman. I had the points update that hit me pretty bad. My list lost its entire bid and then lost a bunch of offensive push, which I ended up finding out I think is pretty essential for where it was at. And then the rules changes, I feel like they just killed Bosk because Bosk's thing used to be
Yeah.
he was so mobile, he would catch people out of cover, and he was mobile because of
Scale,
scale.
yeah.
So then
I
he's no
know.
longer mobile and he can no longer catch people out of cover. And so he just, man, it's just double whammy on Bosk. Yeah, if I'd
And it's
had a
rough
little
because
bit
that's
more
what you
time,
have
if they had
practice with
released
too.
those
Yeah.
a little bit earlier, I probably would have tried to find a different list. But with only 10 days to adjust, it was like, well, yeah, I think I'm just gonna take this because it's what I understand, and that's better than trying to figure out something new.
That's exactly my sentiment too. I was like, you know what, man, it sucks that this is the situation we're in, but I'm comfortable with Vader Callus. This is what we're running. I'm comfortable with my dewbacks.
Yeah.
And even then, like leading up to it, remember I was sending so many lists, like just desperate, like just what about this? What about
Yeah.
this? And at the end of it, I was like, let's just go back to the original one. Like, there's just no way I can practice it. If I was trying to get a ton of games in too, it's just so hard. I get it, man. Like, it's hard to dedicate like 4 hours pretty much of your of a day consistently, like I was trying to get a game in every day and it was just too hard to coordinate, especially with the work. My work didn't
Mm.
stop. If anything, it
Mm.
got more intense leading up to the event, just so I could take off a few days.
So for me, I kind of lucked out. The CRB didn't affect my list in a way that hampered my list and its effectiveness, just simply because I was able to cut vigilance, and I'm not a fan of vigilance anyways. So I was able to cut vigilance, and I cut. I had 20 points invested in ARC Trooper jetpacks, so that was 32 points. I was easily able to keep my list together. But where I think what helped me was that
You
JR knows
flex.
that the clone list that I've been playing since before Pikes came out. I just integrated Pikes into it to get a more flexible range 4. So my list, even though I only got 2 games in prior to LVO, this list I've been working on and tuning since the year prior. So I really didn't miss a step other than some certain nuances with the new rules. Um,
Well, and
Still
if
hate
anything,
the
the new rules kind of buff your list up a bit too. Again, like you said, you were able to get tons of points off of the jetpacks because everybody just has jump one now. Like,
Yeah.
hmm
And I don't know
And
about
that's
you guys in the maps. I didn't see a whole lot of height two stuff.
yeah, man. I was,
yeah.
I was kind of hoping. I think there was one map. It was that one with the big giant spire that you have, JR,
Mm.
the Sith Temple or the Sith whatever. I think
Yeah.
that's the only height two. Maybe there was another. Nah, dude. Everything was like right at like below height two. Even the cool looking stuff, which it is what it is, right? Like you can't complain about the train a whole lot. But then it makes it where it's like now everybody can just jump one, like
Hmm.
everyone.
Pretty much. So yeah. So in my games though, they're pretty much all fun, and my list didn't change too much because I knew I'd run into run Maul, and my list was just gonna have them all in it, whether it be pikes and all that.
I
Well,
do
that's what
have
you're
a
comfortable with too.
I do have a question. I didn't even know your bus was just a medic until the stream was happening. Do you feel like you should have took the quad cannon
Oh
to
no.
help?
Mm-mm. So that
Really?
yeah, because the job only had two jobs. Was to transport and to heal. And I'm glad I didn't take the quad laser because everybody that I faced tried to take the bus out the first time because it's
Yeah,
gonna
they
transport
focused it.
and it's gonna medic. So it's like if I take the quad laser, that's more points and I lose something in my list, and I would have lost the bus because in every game practically I lost the bus.
And that's points you'd have to
Oh,
take out of
okay.
something else
Yeah,
too, you know.
yeah.
I'm assuming you had everything to the line of like, I need to have this, I need to have this. This is the bare minimum upgrades I can take on my units, and to throw a quad cannon onto the bus would take away from the rest of them, which are going to do more of an impact. Like you said, you're spreading those points across instead of
Uh,
concentrating them on something that's going to be focused down. Because again, it plays such a big role.
Well,
So I
especially
completely
since
understand.
the medic is unlimited, like it's immediately becomes a big target, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's no
So
capacity, right?
yeah, it's
no.
a hill every round, and it's huge. It's huge. If you leave people that left it alive for longer than they should have, it was doing its job. But those that focused it like turn one, turn two, you know, got it killed, then it had less of an impact in my game, which hurt a lot. So I understand why people target it, and I understand that it needed to just do its job effectively. Which some lists it did, some lists it didn't. You know,
Yeah, because healing
IE was
every
the
round,
worst.
that gets out of hand later on in the game when one wound matters, right?
Mhm.
One wound's the difference between Maul going down or your commander going down. Like it's a big deal to let it go on longer. Plus, with especially with the way the new rules are, the way the new rules work is it's just mobile line of sight blocking now too. Oh no, wait, is it because it's
Yeah, it
cover?
is.
It is,
No,
yeah.
Yeah,
it
okay.
ground it for purposes of cover it becomes a ground vehicle.
Yeah.
So fun stuff was that the trip getting there, but what I want to talk about, I blew my mind. What did you guys think of the tables that were there?
Oh yeah, the table was really
We have to
nice.
talk about the tables, man. Those
Although
tables are
Daniel has
beautiful.
comments on one of
Did
them.
you fill out the forum?
Did just on that one.
Just on the one.
So
I'm
tell us
just a
about that
complainer.
table. Tell us about that table.
So yeah, there was just one table. The problem that I had with it was that it was a very nice looking table, very cool, very thematic. It was like desert themed, and it had like dunes, and then it had like one building, and then a bunch of like maybe a couple patches of trees, like palm trees. And it was cool, but like the number of terrain pieces on the entire map was probably like 7. Like there was probably 7 pieces of terrain on the entire map. And it's
Oh
because
my
they were
god.
really big pieces. So it
Right.
looks like fairly filled out, but the problem is that when you're playing, you're just like, oh, I'm touching it, you're touching it, no one gets cover. And that happened
This
like
piece
constantly.
ceases to exist. Yeah.
Yeah, so almost all the big pieces were like pretty close to both of our starting deployments. And so yeah, it was just like it felt like there was not much you could do. There was only one line of sight blocker, and it was not that big. I could only hide one mini behind it,
Oh
so
my
I
god.
hid CAD behind it, and then eventually the bike swooped around and shot him. And it was just like, oh, this isn't. I don't know. It just for me, I want there to be lots of variable terrain. I feel like that's a lot of the fun tactics that you get out of Legion, and
Mhm.
that one map I feel like didn't really provide that. But on the whole, most of the maps were great and they were beautiful. It was a lot of fun to play on them.
Yeah, it was cool seeing everything painted up. Like I said, there's a variety of stuff, very thematic, cool looking things. I don't think I got screwed out like you did on any of the cover ones, because yeah, 7 pieces, big pieces, especially with only one line of sight blocking, that doesn't serve anybody any good unless you're a gun line and you're gonna make saves. Other than that, it's kind of screws everybody else up.
Mhm.
So speaking of our games, Daniel, I know you got here a little late. I want you to talk about a game that you had like that stood out to you, and then the game that finally took you out of the tournament.
Okay.
And we'll go around.
Yeah.
We'll start with Daniel and then go around.
Sure. So the game that stood out to me. Um. Yeah. I'll just start with the game that took me out of the tournament because I know which one that is. So the second game took me out of the tournament. Um, I ended up playing against an Iden 333 type list. So it had 2 snipers in Inferno, Iden, and then it had 3 storms that had the T21 and specialists, and then it had 3 bikes. Um, And so it was a cool list. But we went to the picks and bans, and I'm running double bounty with Cad and Bosk and Magna Guards. And so we end up playing recover the supplies, which was exactly what I wanted. We play advanced positions, which I was not disappointed with, and um, we played uh, what's it called? The one where you can't see
Limited
more than
visibility.
two,
Limited
limited visibility. So we played limited visibility. So this game, um, after the picks and bans, I was feeling like I'd basically won because Cad is still the only character in the entire game who can start on the box because he's allowed to put his token on the box, and then when it's revealed, he's there. And so, in my mind, Cad was going to grab the box. There might be one or two shots on him because of limited viz, and then he'd run away, and that would be the whole game. So I put Cad out there. As soon as I put divulged Cad's card, my opponent called a judge because we had a disagreement on when Cad's divulge happened. He thought that Cad's divulge didn't happen until we started actually deploying units. So he thought he got to deploy a unit and then I got to divulge Cad, which is probably why he let me play recover the supplies because he didn't realize I was going to get to put out Cad first. And so we call a judge and you do divulge cards before any deployment happens. So I put Cad on the box. I put bombs somewhere, to harass him on his boxes. And then he puts Iden right next to Cad so that Cad has to flip so Cad doesn't get his tokens on the first turn, which is a good move. That's definitely what you should do. So he did that. We end up playing, he goes first with Iden. Iden attacks Cad, and just she first does the thing where she does the stun with ID 10 where he gives out 3 suppression. And so she gave 3 suppression to Cad, and in my mind I'm like, this is great. Now Cad has his full danger sense. I'm actually okay with this. There's like almost no way he's gonna die with all that. And so then he does that, attacks Cad, and then through the attack he ends up getting like 3 wounds onto Cad. And it was just, this was a game for me that I was super disappointed, and I realized how dice dependent my list is because Cad just rolled all blanks basically through the next couple attacks. He just rolls all blanks, and it's like, well, yeah, I get to roll a lot of dice with Cad, and statistically, typically he'll do well, but the list is so dice dependent that yeah, one of these games will happen through a tournament of 6, or I'd say between like this tournament and the last tournament, it's not unlikely that one game where Cad just rolls all blanks happens. And it happened here where so Cad rolled a whole bunch of blanks. And then I do Cad. Cad doesn't get off the suppression, so I decide just to jump him into heavy cover because I'm like, I'm close enough to the box. I'll pick it up next turn. So he jumps into heavy cover, takes a shot. He ends up killing a member off of Inferno Squad, which he was very happy with. Inferno Squad goes, shoots at him, deals like 1 or 2 wounds, and then he goes with I don't know, a sniper or something, and ends up killing Cad. He gets like 4 black through, and so through all those, Cad basically rolled 0 defense. And so I was very disappointed because almost I think he got exactly killed off of everything that I shot him, and he had enough. I mean, he rolled a ton of dice. He rolled 3 extra dice on all those attacks. So that was super disappointing. Of like, well, Cad shouldn't have died, and I probably should win based on positioning. I do end up getting to charge my Magnus up, and they kill Iden. And so I'm still like in a good place where it's like, well, I traded Cad for Iden, and I have 2 Magnus standing right next to the box. We end up playing the rest of the game, and he sends his bikes down. They get some fortunate shots on Bosk, and Bosk gets he gets 2 shot in heavy cover, which it's not super unlikely, but it was a bummer. The second shot from bikes I didn't see coming. I just hadn't factored in their angles. I forget how far they can move. So then it's like round 3, I think, and I'm out Cad and Bosk, but my Magnus have just absolutely wrecked everything that's near the box. So we end up playing the next couple rounds, and one squad of Magnus goes and tries to attack his 2 boxes that he's picked up with storms and backed up with. And so we get in, he messes up and withdraws from the Magnas on like his front line and doesn't realize that, well, those Magnas are now just going to go charge at your back line because they want to go get your box. They didn't really want to be fighting your snipers. They wanted to be fighting the stormtroopers you had hiding in the back with your box. And so they charge into the back, hit the stormtroopers, and they basically wipe one of the squads. And so there's 2 squads of stormtroopers back there, one that's down to like 2 men. one that has a full squad. The 2-man squad that is engaged with the Magnus withdraws, and the other squad shoots into the Magnus, and it gets almost a perfect roll. I think they rolled 8 out of 9 on their white dice with an aim. So I was like, okay, well, this wasn't the shot I was expecting to come into the Magnus. I was thinking I'd lose maybe 2 Magnus. But still, like he's got 8 dice coming at me, and I'm like, well, I'll probably lose 2 Magnus. So I roll my defense dice, and they blank, and the entire squad has been wiped. And I'm like, okay, well, that was my backup plan for making you drop some boxes, and then I would win off of that. And so it felt like all of my plans just kept falling through because of dice.
Yeah.
And then finally at the end, like I have the 1 Magnus squad left. They pick up the middle box, and we're on round 6, and he can take 3 shots. He can take 3 shots at my Magnus. I have 2 full Magnus, and I have 2 dodges. And it comes down, the first shot comes through and it kills one of my Magnus. So I'm down to 1 Magna holding the box with 2. He's got two black shots into, I think it's into open, but I have 2 dodges. And so he fires with the 2. The first one gives a wound. The second one gets 1 through the dodge. And so literally the whole game came down to 1 red die of if I roll a shield, then my Magna lives and I have 3 boxes and I win. And if he rolls anything else, then I die and that's the game. And I roll it and I died.
Ooh, 50.
And so that game, credit to my opponent, he played a good game. And I feel like I played an okay game. But really what it came down to was that my list is fairly dice dependent. I had to be aggressive, which meant that I was putting myself out there for big rolls to happen for and against me. CAD is reliant on dice. Bosk is reliant on dice. And so statistically, they'll win 55, 60% of their games. But this was one of those 40% where, yep, the dice just said, nope, you're trying to be aggressive and you can't.
Yeah, we're talking about that afterwards too, where it's like it's hard making a list that's not dice dependent because, like you said, it's going to swing at some point, and you hope to have it earlier in the event than later in the event.
Right.
And you just can't control that. And it's unfortunate because, I mean, fuck. You just talked about them, the freaking Magnus. They roll red defense dice, right?
Yes, they do.
That's me all the time. I'm like, all right, here's 6 red defense dice. All right, cool. I blocked 1 if I'm lucky, and it just feels bad, but there's nothing you can do about it. I can't rage at it to make them blocks. I really can't.
It's funny that you say that because in my whole LVO experience this year, I was dicing everybody except my last game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because again, dude, the dice are gonna swing both ways, and you hope it swings earlier than it does later when it matters more.
So what about your game, Roman?
I think the one that took me out was definitely the very first game. I played against Echo-based defenders, which nobody in town plays, so I just had no experience against. He had what did we have? We had hostage exchange, and it was hemmed in. Yeah, it was a hostage exchange, hemmed in. Dude, I thought I had it because I have Vader, I have the dewback, I'm able to do so much stuff. But he also had 4 dish turrets that have D cannons, all standby first turn. Yeah, it was just a wall. And the thing that sucks too is, again, the rules have changed so much over the years. I remember at one point when a standby triggers, if you had a free action, as a controlling player, you could control it. And now it's like, no, standby goes before anything, even before you're relentless, before whatever. So my dewback went, I was going to try to strip off a standby or 2 or whatever, and it was like, no. And then I triggered pretty much every single turret, and he just shot all my guys. It sucks. And it was still close, towards the end, because as long as Vader's alive, as long as some of these guys are alive, there's still a threat. But yeah, he was just able to wipe out one of my dewbacks, 2 of my able to do so much, and he still had the air speeder to be able to come around, just clean up all my guys, which is what he ended up doing. But I feel like that's definitely the one that set me, because you know how it is with the win and the losses. I got put in the losers bracket, and then my second game I played a very new player, but by then I was like, man, even if I beat this guy, it's not going to give me a good LO or strength of schedule. Yeah, SOS. And it's yeah, because he was so new. I was helping him out a lot. I was like, doing this, oh, you can't do that, or this is the way it works. And I didn't know until Toby brought it up that with intercept, that last turn, you double score if it's turn 5. That's when you're scoring. I'm like, if I had known that, because we're running out of time, I could have just mastered a force or mastered a darkness, and he wouldn't have gotten anything, and I would have gotten double points in one. But again, if I beat that guy, I'd get paired up with another guy who's 1-1, and I might have lost that game and still been 1-2. But that first game definitely put me on a downward trajectory when it came to my schedule, and then just setting the tone of everything again, dude. When you just get hurt that hard, it just kind of deflates you a bit. Yeah, the dewbacks did good. Vader did good. Callus did good. You know, sniper strikes do what sniper strikes do. I was actually able to take out a significant amount. Like he was kept trying to pick up the hostage, and the snipers were just picking off his dudes, keeping him from doing that. But yeah, as soon as Vader and my two dewbacks went down, all the major objective um securing ability kind of went away, which is unfortunate. Because yeah, his I forget how squishy those FD turrets are. I mean, they're just white saves. I don't even think they surge defend. So you just shoot like four, get four wounds through, and they're gonna die.
So that begs the question: if the game ends on turn 4, does that mean each
Three.
intercept is 3 points?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah. So
wow,
yeah,
Yeah,
that's wild.
because the however intercept ends, you always get that extra
it's
score at
end
the
of end of
end.
the game.
Because
Yeah.
end of the game, not end of the sixth round, or it's end of the game. So you
Yeah.
could
And then
stack points if you time it, right.
yeah,
That's
definitely. Well,
wild.
especially with again, like I had the resources, right? I had the proper units to do stuff like that, especially because I was getting hostage exchange and intercept a lot, which I think Vader does really well with both, especially with the new panic rules. And then yeah, man, it's just again, things just didn't work out the way I wanted them to. Again, that was completely my fault in round one, was just I didn't know that um again, the whole stand by the way it triggers now, because again it's been a while since clone ball that I had to deal with that, so that's been years. And then my last game, yeah, I was just I stumped the guy out, but it didn't matter, I was gonna be 1-2. I think Daniel walked by, we were both sitting down. I was like, yeah, dude, we're just playing, having fun.
Yeah.
I was able to rapid my two dewbacks in his back line, and that was fun. That's about it. But yeah, I think that first game definitely took me out of the event, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I went to have fun. I went to, enjoy the event and hang out with you guys, and just, see the what the event had to offer. It was a really cool convention area. After JR talks about his game, definitely want to talk a bit about when we first rolled up, all the stuff we saw and how sign up was and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Jose, what you got?
So I want to say it was kind of a double whammy for me. The game that eliminated me was the last one. I got to play against I didn't know this, but a member of the Discord, Ben Lear, Imperial sympathizer. So he was playing double bounty. He had Bosk, or not Bosk. He had Boba, and he had IG-88. I have plenty of experience against Boba. Had zero experience against IG. So everything that he was doing with IG was kind of like hitting me
Yeah.
from left field. So for that game, we ended up playing. Let me bring it up real fast. We ended up playing hostile environment, major offenses. No, not that one. What was it? It was Okay, here it is. We ended up playing rollout, intercept, and supply drop. Which was kind of weird because he didn't have a vehicle, so that tells me that he was comfortable with people having vehicles and getting that extra movement. But I think it was just he wanted to keep the map contained in that little box. So he had, like I said, he had Boba, he had IG, he had two pikes, like the fully loaded pikes, like the capo, the big gun, and then he had two shores with Commander Karen in there, so they were courage too, and then he had the two mortars, and so when we ended up going uh we're just going head on right at each other. The supplies are out. I'm mirroring his supply drop. We're picking him up as we go. And I put everything in like this box that was on the left side, on the high side of the rollout, because my initial plan was I'm gonna have my strikes in the back, moving forward, making their pick shots as they try to hold these two intercept points, or the back intercept point. Then while that's going on, I'm gonna wrap around the building on the left, send Anakin blitzing to the back to start the blending in the back to kind of keep him pushed back, while I wrap everything else, start making its way towards the center intercept. That was good until I realized that he's Imperial sympathizer and he's really good on disco on a TTS. So I was like, okay, this guy knows way more than I do. And he just started bringing the pain. Like, it was insane. Like, I didn't shoot the pikes because there was no point in shooting the pikes. I use pikes. His pikes are better than my pikes. There's no way I'm gonna win that. So I started using the jump mechanic to get my strikes into position, and I'm starting to pick off his shores, do a little bit of damage to his mortars, but his position game was just so clean and so tight. Like, the minute he saw the Anakin on that side, I think he knew what I was gonna do because he started shifting around, and I'm like, damn it. So while that's all going on, he got Boba doing the same thing Anakin's doing, but way faster on the outside lane. And I was able to kind of keep him back a little bit with the strikes, and we're not losing a lot of models. It's just the timer's coming down, and I'm like, damn, it's getting crazy. So as time's expiring, I got two guys on the center intercept point. I got my two strikes in the back. Boba jumps up, and he does his rocket blows one of the pikes up, and he ends up getting it to where it's locked. So what I should have did was I should have pulled Anakin back into the center intercept point so I could start helping the guy stay alive. But I had already committed to the press on the left side. So what I ended up seeing was I had IG down to 3 wounds. That's one saber throw, and I take I take it on points. So I blitz freaking Anakin in there. I see IG-80. I think he realizes, oh no, this could be bad because it's gonna force Boba to have to kill something to go back up in points. I lunge, I throw the saber as hard as I can. 3 red dice, no cover. I get one hit
Oof.
On red, bro. What's with
on
you? What's
red.
with you and red dice? You
My
always
red
break out
attack
on
die.
red dice.
It was one hit, and once that happened, I was like, yeah, I lost. It's over. Like, there's nothing because I
There's
can't
no
back
hope.
Anakin up any further to get into scoring range. The game ends. It goes to MOV, and he beats me by like, I don't know, like 90 points. So, but it was
If you had
fun.
killed IG, it would have gotten him. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I did feel bad though because and I should have apologized to him for it, but
Ripped the
because
nasty one.
the no, so I was kind of heated from my game before, and JR knows. I don't know if we'll talk about it, but he knows why I was like agitated for the prior game. So this guy Ben was so fucking awesome. I roll up to the table, he rolls up with a bucket of beer, like he's in chill mode, and he's like, "Yep, Ben, whatever," drinking his Coors, whatever. And I'm like, dude, this is a cool motherfucker. But I'm heated from the last game. And so when Ben plays, he plays coordinated fire, and he's doing the passing your aim shenanigans, and he goes, "I'm gonna put an aim onto the shore, the pikes," and then he goes, "Oh," and he put the token down, and then he picks it up. He's, "Oh no," he's like, "Actually, I'm gonna give it to the shores." I should have realized that the game is not that serious, and it was supposed to be fun,
Man, you're about to take your whole day out on this poor guy right
but
now.
what came out of my mouth. No, no, no. I feel bad. What came out of my mouth was I became the rules lawyer prick of the century, like in one sentence, and I didn't realize how much of an asshole I was till after the game and realized this dude was fucking like a cool dude. So when he puts that token down on the shores, I know that those shores are gonna tear me up if I let that happen. And I also know that he already let go of the token and put it down. I said, "I'd rather you not." He's like, "Excuse me?" I'm like, "You already passed the order to the pike. You already passed the token to the pikes, and you let it go. Like, I kind of would rather you just leave it there." And he's like, "Well, okay." And he puts it back, and I'm just see, and Jared, you know it's because of that last game, right? That I did that,
Yeah.
and and then I feel like he proceeded to whip my ass because of that. Like, all right, now,
Yeah, he puts the beer away. He's like, all right, that kind of
yeah,
game.
yeah. So he took that aim on that pikes and proceeded to blow my second unit of pikes up. And I was like, okay, but I should have apologized. I was like I said, I did a battle with the rules. Like, me and Jared talk about this. I'm a stickler for the rules. Like, if it's a May and you missed it, that's your bad, bro. If you know you missed, I'm an Anakin player, so you missed my flaw card. It's not my job to remember. Like I'm that type of player. So my round two game, it was like looking into a mirror, and JR's on his side of the table, and he's like, "Oh, this game looks interesting." We and the other guy just going back and forth, and I ended up just getting that game took me to like a really stupid competitive level where it's like, okay, this guy's so competitive, he's an asshole, and then that one moment I did that and I didn't get a chance to apologize to the guy. But Imperial Sympathizer, I highly doubt you watch this, but I'm just telling you that I'm sorry, and I shouldn't have did that, and I feel really bad. But that was the game that took me out of the event because at that time I was 1-1.
It's so funny because like in all my games, people were missing Into the Fray. Like even Kyle was missing Into the Fray, and he's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to have like 3 here." I'm just like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Oh,
It's not that big of a deal to me. Like I understand you missed the timing, but I'm not going to be that stickler to it."
the new deflect rules, it's not a it's that was a huge miss.
In my game, it didn't matter, but I could see it
Yeah,
mattering. I could see it mattering, but yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, my game, the one that took me out was actually from Kyle Dornbells. Super fun game, a super stressful game because I was in the top 8, and it would if I would have beat Kyle, I would have went to top 4. Kyle was the 3rd Blizzard Force I faced this tournament. I faced 2 Blizzard Force before this, and oh man, Blizzard Force is just not fun to play against. Like it's just so hard to get anything through.
Were the
Um,
earlier Blizzard forces that you played, were they good players or was the list carrying them a bit?
so my first opponent, he was definitely a good Blizzard Force player. Like all of them, in my opinion, were good, like playing the list solid. It's just that my first one, I got Hostage Exchange, which I think is the better one out of the all 4 of them for me to get. And the terrain, I did Rapid, and I was able to position my Black Suns in a way where I got flanking on his guys.
Advantageous positioning, yeah, that's good.
Exactly. So my last 2 the next Blizzard Force, oh, that was a little bit more stressful because the reason why it was so stressful is because whoever won that game got to go to top 8, and that
Oh,
was crucial. Like you got to go top 8, you got more prizes, and then you potentially got a world's invite. So that one we were kind of like judge calling, like, oh hey, this that, you know. But it was really came down to Kyle's game that there was only one moment where I felt like I got bamboozled, but it was like no one's fault. It was just me not understanding the rules fully yet. Because Kyle is a good player and he positioning pretty good, and then I positioned pretty well. Pretty much it came down to the battle deck. I feel like in this game against Kyle, I was like destined to lose because nothing went in my favor. When I flipped the battle deck cards over, the 3rd slot was bombing run, and the last one was breakthrough. Kyle does, bans hostage and key position, and I can't give him bombing run, so I do it to breakthrough. I spec'd into rapid reinforcements, hoping I could get a play off of it. And sure enough, it's battle lines, so it's so easy for him to get things over to my breakthrough. I rationale in my head that I'm just gonna sit everything behind in one corner and just move up, have the bikes come to me, and hopefully I could pick them up. There was this down, what's it
you
called?
oh, like a
it's your
droid ship,
like a droid
Yeah,
ship.
yeah, droid
Yeah,
ship.
it's droid
droid
ship.
gunship,
Yeah,
yeah.
that I was hoping to give me cover and like kind of stop some of his guys. But he's got range 4 on his stormtrooper, right? So that's 6 dice coming at me from range 4. So pretty much he positioned turn 1 was just all about positioning. I rapid Black Suns, and I had a moment of thought where I could have put it on the right side of his table and flank him on that. But then this is Kyle we're facing. I rationalized that all he has to do at that point is take his whole army just to deal with the Black Suns, and then just go to the breakthrough on battle lines. And then it would be on me to catch up at a disadvantage. So I decided not to do that. And I decided that my one saving grace, I don't like to take risky plays. I don't like to do Hail Marys. But I feel like in this situation, since
You
I'm
have
already,
to, yeah.
yeah, like because Blizzard Force in itself is a reckon with, and it's like I make or break. So I put Black Suns right next to Vader because Vader went behind that droid ship, and I was like, okay, I'll shoot at range 2. Average I get pretty good odds, right? And then he's got to defend, and Kyle knows this, so he plays he burns Master of Evil just to get a dodge, which is wild to me that you're getting dodges off of Master of Evil. But they changed Vader, and Vader's good now.
He's really
So
good.
yeah, he's really, really good. Really, really good. So I'm just like, you know what? I don't care if he's gonna get deflected. I'm gonna shoot off this and see if I can get something through. I got nothing through. Nothing through. I blanked
Yeah.
out. I blanked out. Like this
Well,
whole
you
game.
didn't blank. You on that Black Sun shot. You
Yeah.
didn't
I mean, he
blink. So
basically blanked.
you got.
Yeah.
Well, the reaction was hilarious because you got 2 hits. Kyle uses the no. You got 3 hits. Kyle uses the dodge, takes it down to 2. He blocks both and then gives you a wound back with the flex,
Yeah.
which is ironic because you're deflect type and
And
then you eat it.
it's so funny is like I very felt much like I got Dice's game. I don't like to blame Dice because Dice are Dice, but like he hit
But
on
it's the
everything.
cause, yeah.
Yeah, he even his bikes were getting like all hits, like on like getting 6 hits every time. But that's just how the dice rolls. Nothing you can do about it. So the only thing I could say in Kyle's game, it was a great game, had fun playing it, and I wasn't even mad because even though I got taken out, I got a Worlds invite, which is awesome, and then I got all the gifts. So like going on, it was just about bragging at that point.
And we got to leave before noon. That was pretty
Yeah,
big.
that was. I think that's what I was most excited about. I was just like, cool. I don't.
Daniel was excited too.
Oh yeah, I was dying.
He was a mummy, dude.
But the only thing in Kyle's game that I feel like I got bamboozled on, and that's just because I didn't know the rules, is during the define the step, we were saying what was impassable, was this and everything. The droid ship, we didn't say impassable because my brain was already thinking like, yeah, that's impassable.
Clearly
like,
impassable.
Yeah, old rules like that's impassable. You couldn't climb over it, right? But like by default, because I was talking to Kyle about it, by default, terrain are objective terrain, and you could just climb over it. And that's what happened is Vader, because I was hoping where his position of Vader was, he either had to go towards the Black Suns and then Maul will pop out and deal with that, or go around, which then I get free shots on him. But what he did is with the new rules that you're able to do,
jumped one up.
He jumped
one over it, and then he could relentless blast, got my pikes up and then got base in it. And at that point, my small victory became, can I kill Vader? Which that was the only time I didn't dice him because he blanked on everything. He like had 5 surges from Into the Fray and he just blanked on everything and down went Vader. But at that point, he already took out Black Suns, he took out the bus, and he took out a pikes. And I think I only took out Vader and a bike. And then at that point, he just goes to his breakthrough. So I ended up calling it because I was just like, look, we get to leave early, which is awesome. And then, I could try to get this game, but it's Kyle we're dealing with. So it's probably going to be very much more risky.
No
of just like seeing
error room.
Yeah, no error for.
So when we were watching that game, we were in the hotel watching it, and it was weird because we play you like often to where it's like we can tell if you're gonna win, if you're gonna lose. Right when you made the Black Sun play, we were in the hotel and the dice just diced. And when that happened, we all got up like, all right, let's go down there. Like he lost. So
and then go ahead.
So the strange thing to us though is that we've never seen you backed into a corner like you were. No game have we ever seen that. And you try to wiggle to the left, Kyle put you right back in that corner. You try to wiggle to the right, Kyle put you right back in that corner. And we're like, this fool literally has nowhere to go. Like, how is this even a thing? Like he had you stuck in that corner fighting for your life, dude. And that was so weird to see. You're a great player. You're if not the best, you're one of the best players.
Well, again, dude, this is Ivan Drago versus Apollo Creed. So you're like, Apollo Creed's a badass motherfucker, right? And then Ivan Drago's like, oh, if he dies, he dies.
He dies.
You're like, whoa.
Roman's like, throw in the towel, and then Daniel's dying in the corner trying to stay away.
Yeah. He's like, dude, just throw it in.
What's like
Daniel's so knocked out too.
Yeah,
right next to JR.
It was one of those games where facing 2 Blizzard forces before that was like, okay, I know how it plays. I know what I need to do. And I needed the bikes to come to me. Like I needed the bikes to traverse and get away from his army. But it's hard with Blizzard Force because you got the storms at range 4. And then when I did that positioning of the Black Sun, my Hail Mary play, I was hoping to make saves as well, right? Because I had a surge. I didn't make a single save. Oh, I probably did, but I blinked out a lot more than I thought I would, but you shouldn't rely on the dice. I knew better, but I figured I'd give him another target from him, just shooting at my bus because he was shooting at my bus, and the bus was going to go down because that's what you do. Yeah, so it was fun. I had a
Playing
blast.
I get
playing
it,
all
man.
that Blizzard
It's
Force.
yeah,
Oh, go
or
ahead,
like
Ron.
you keep saying it's like a Hail Mary play, and it's a lot like football. I don't know if you guys play football, but it's like there's times where it's like you go up against a team and you're like, they have the best running back or whatever. Now I had to
I
just
can't
stop them.
win.
And well,
Yeah.
and that's the thing though, is I mean, if you because I used to play defense, I used to do a lot of defense, and it's that point where it's like, I know we have to stop the running back, and we can't. And
Mhm.
every play, he's getting 3 to 5 points, and we just can't stop him. So at that point, you're like, all right, let's just start taking out knees
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just doing whatever you can. Maybe I can injure their QB, force some
Mhm.
fumbles before the running back gets it. Do what we can, and you just can't stop it. And every play is just closer and closer and closer to the end zone. And when you do get the ball after they score, it's like, all right, let me throw my Hail Marys because this is the only thing that's going to get me close to catching up. And yeah, dude, there's
That
some points.
It's
Yeah,
funny that
go
you
ahead.
say that, Ro, because like I was thinking about how could I have played this game better? Like what could I have done better? And like I feel like any positioning that could have done was gonna result in a Hail Mary. Like if I put the Blackson on
Mhm.
the right side, like I could have Hail Mary take one out, but his whole army comes out. I had to rely on red saves. I could clash. I could just go up against them, but then I got to rely on my saves. So I think the problem wasn't really. It was pretty much like the list. Blizzard Force makes bad players good, good players better,
Great,
and then
yeah.
excellent players just like amazing, right? So I really feel like the
It
Blizzard
was an
Force
uphill
needs a
battle
nerf.
going in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it needs a
yeah.
nerf
That
big time.
that game, Jared was like, I know what I have to do. I don't know if I have the strength to do it. I
He's
can
looking.
finally rest after he lost.
He's looking at the Vader. He's like, I wonder if I can grab that model real quick and eat it before anybody sees.
Yeah. It's also funny is that like this whole time playing in the LVO, my stress level went lower as the tournament went on. Okay, so when I knew I got paired with the Blizzard first game one, my stress was really high. I was just like, man, if I get kicked out of the tournament off of this game, this is gonna suck. And then the next game was like, now I got to make it the top 8. Now it's super high. I was just like super stressed. Like I want to get to top 8. That was my goal. And then when I went to Kyle, I was just like really not stressed at all because I was just like, all right, let's look at the facts. Kyle's a good player. Blizzard First is amazing. And if he beats me, I get to leave early. It's really a win-win
Bro,
situation.
you guys were so in tune. It was weird because I was listening to the podcast as the game was going on, and Endless was like, oh, he's talking to Chad. He's like, oh, I can't turn up their mic volume. He's like, they're really not talking.
Yeah.
And like you guys, it was weird because we were standing there
Like
watching
a
you,
chess
dude, and
match.
like yeah, you guys are you're every move you're moving. Kyle's like watching your hands, watching you, watching this stuff, watching the like he's calculating. You see his wheels turning, and his breathing was like so slow,
He's a
like
predator,
he
man.
was he was just waiting for you to make that mistake. And then as the game started going with lopsided, you're watching you were just like your breathing got a little accelerated more than his was, but you guys were just it was like watching a dance, dude. It was weird. Like it's weird to say Legion like that, but you guys were just pointing, agreeing, shake, nodding your heads, and it's like you guys were legitimately playing like a very technical, and I
All
even
right.
Endless said on the stream like a
That's
ballet dance.
that's why I was gonna say that's why I like playing good players or just playing like to the T of what your guys can do. And that's why I don't get bent of shape of like if you missed into the fray, like go ahead, take into the fray because I have to know if that was gonna affect my list or not. Like, did my list come out on top despite you missing into the fray? Like, I don't want to win. I'm not saying anything about you, Jose. Just like I don't want to win off of a miss trigger. I want to know if my list was capable to do it. And so like that's why like Blizzard Force was an uphill battle, but at the same time, it's just like it is what it is. That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And yeah, I had a lot of fun in the end.
Yeah, man. Talking about fun. What was it like rolling up to the event for you guys? Like it took a while to register into the hotel and stuff. And then we had that long ass line to register for the no,
Daniel's
not even
fight
to
with the
register.
kiosk.
I wasn't there. I was parking the car. but not to register. It was to get our bands. Yeah, to get the convention pass. Dude, we were in line for a while. But once we got them, how freaking cool was it to see like all the Warhammer, like life size stuff, the exhibitor room.
Oh, that
Daniel found
Warhammer
his
statue
Essentials
was
kit.
sick. Yeah,
That
that was
Warhammer statue.
yeah, that wasn't there last year. When I saw that Warhammer statue, that was pretty sick.
We need to get Legion big enough to we could have the 40K
Like a
Warhammer guy and like
stormtrooper.
Vader like right there
Yeah,
next to
oh,
him.
Vader would be
Well,
sweet, dude.
Jose, we can if you're gonna be an asshole to everybody.
Oh,
I
man.
know, Jose.
Oh, so I realized that the fun of the trip was Daniel was like not miserable, but he was like the trip was against him from day one. Even when he got his room key, we were breaking into somebody else's room.
Oh yeah, we went to the wrong tower.
Yep.
Yep.
And the elevators took forever, so it was like, are we
And then it
stuck
was
here?
broken that night.
Yeah.
Well, there was what we waited like 10 minutes to go down. We didn't realize
Yeah, it was
that there
crazy.
I've never seen that, and I've also
My-
never seen a tower where you can't just go up on the stairs. At that point, I'd rather just go up the stairs. I
Oh,
know
for
I'm
sure.
I think
Yeah.
there
bad in
was.
this
I think
but-
there was staircase where we had to go find them, and then we were on the 10th floor. I don't know about you, man. I'm trying to walk down 10 stairs. You know, 10 flight of
Me and
stairs.
Roman were about to with an ice chest. What like but then we found out there were no stairs.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah, there's
"Is
no
there
stairs
fire
going
exit?
up. You guys
We'll go up the
looked
ladder."
down.
Oh, you guys looked at there, and there was no stairs.
There's no
I
stairs
think they're
going
just
up.
for emergencies.
Exactly. There's only to come down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
is crazy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we went to the wrong tower. We finally got a hold of our stuff, and then I think we went down to go look at the tables, right? Which was cool because they were still setting up.
Well,
a bunch of
let's
them.
not forget our peeping window that we had in our room.
Oh,
We didn't find out about that until at night, though. We'll bring that up later when the fun
Okay.
really
Okay.
started.
Yeah.
Because yeah, we met up with Tobe and his brother. It was cool. Caillou, he was a cool dude. And then we went to go get food, and we went to go get some Giordano's deep dish pizza, and that was how good was the pizza, guys?
Oh, it was the best.
best pizza ever. Daniel still dreams of that pizza.
I'm excited to go back and eat it again. But yeah, and then we walked. I think I was planning on Ubering there and walking back, or vice versa. And Toby, you know, being the young man he is, I forget how young he is. He's like, "Oh, we'll just walk there." I'm like,
It was
"Oh,
a mile
okay."
there and back.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I'll give him that. It wasn't too bad. I didn't realize how long it was gonna be. So but yeah, I was nice and tired by the time we got back. And then yeah, I think Jose was the first one to shower. Daniel found the light switch next to the bed to turn on the lights. And I'm like, that's a weird looking mirror. Why would they put a mirror there? And then I'm like, that's a window. Why is there a window? There's the only thing that there'd be is that a window? Like the only thing that would be on the other side of this wall is Jose showering. So I'm like looking and I see Jose and I start knocking on the window. I'm like,
Oh my god! So I'm like doing my
Mid-suds.
shampoo. I'm mid-suds. And by the way, if you get head and shoulders in your eyeballs, it burns for at least 48 hours. So I didn't even think that anything of that window. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm doing my thing, and I hear a bump, bump, bump. I'm like, I jump and I look, and my eyes should be closed because of the soap, but my eyes open, and I see Roman just in the window, all, and I'm like, what the heck? Then I start getting maced by the head and shoulders, and almost slip and die in the tub. There was no like gripper thing, and the freaking bottom of the tub was like so slippery and sketchy. I was like, I was like, what the hell? Roman's like, yeah, it was weird, huh?
That was
Jose-
weird.
Jose's like, if I didn't go to the restroom before then, I would have shit in the shower. I'm like,
Shit
oh,
in the
that would have been a bad that would have been a bad experience for everyone.
Yeah, it was all right. Rate your guys' overall like experience at LVO.
Great. I had a good time. I had a great time, dude. Good food, fun people to hang with. Even, I mean, again, I had fun games. Like, I think my last game was the most fun against his name was Darren. He runs a YouTube channel called 3 Foot Good. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I still had fun even though I lost. Like, I mean, I knew what I was getting into. And again, it
Unconventional
was cool
warfare
hanging out
was
with
fun.
everyone. Yeah, unconventional warfare was a lot of fun. If I knew, see, again, I didn't bring anything besides my main list because I didn't plan on losing.
He was on me and JR top table.
Yeah, there
Final
you go.
game.
Yeah, Legion Lads, top 4.
Yeah. What about
Talking
you,
about
Jose?
that, yeah, all your other guys' fun games, experiences. What was the best part? I know I asked this on the way back in the car. What was the best part of the whole trip? And everybody had some fun answers.
So for me, my funnest moment was unconventional warfare because fortunately I didn't make day 2. But like Roman said, I'm definitely gonna take whatever list I take. I love Gar because Anakin's my favorite character ever, so I'll probably take Gar, but it just depends. But but I was able to do unconventional warfare, and I did lead from the front with Anakin and the Capo, and I got into this game against his name is the Ryan, and he was playing Rogue One list with Jin, K2, Cassian, uh, four Wookiees, which you can do that with these unconventional warfare rules. So I'm like, I can barely handle three Wookiees. You throw a fourth one in there, so okay. And then he had a bunch of naked core in the back, and we were doing VAPs. So he pushed all the Wookiees to one side of the table, and I dropped Anakin on that side. And for 5 rounds, Anakin was just leveling Wookiees. Saber throw fire support, uh, force push into a relentless charge. And that was the funnest thing because I got so in tune with Anakin just dropping Wookiees that the guy snuck in there and tapped my bat. So when the game actually ended, I was able to get Anakin over there and tap the VAP, and I thought I brought it back on points, but realistically, I didn't even tap it to get it up to 3, so it was down to 2. But that was the funnest thing ever, just seeing Anakin just force push, saber throw, fire support, relentless, just giving everything he had just on a Wookiee mosh pit. That was You're not gonna get that in a regular game, and the fact that I had Anakin stack with like 4 dodges minimum every turn, it's like it was awesome.
All right. I know we got to start wrapping up because I know Daniel's got to leave pretty soon. So let's overall experience 1 out of 10. Jose, what do you give LVO?
I'm only a 9, and the only reason it's not a 10 is because there was an unfortunate incident where somebody got their stuff stolen.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks.
I feel like everybody's there to have a good time. Everybody's there to play the games that they love, and at the end of the day, I mean, I wasn't a Legion player, but still being a tabletop centric gamer, I know that must suck. And just the fact that that happened, it makes the event not a 10 because I encompass LVO all together, not just Legion. Legion side, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But overall, LVO experience, just the fact that somebody went home without their armies, really, really a bummer.
What about you, Roman?
Probably similar thing. Again, the theft thing doesn't affect me too much. I mean, I'm pretty careful with my stuff. I don't leave it behind anywhere. For that reason, I just know how people are at big events, and generally, you got all the little freaking vultures and stuff. But dude, it was fun, man. Like everything. I think the only fun thing we didn't have was that one meal in the hotel. Probably won't do that again.
Yeah.
I was tired by the end of it, but I think. I mean, that's how I am at any convention I go to. By the end of it, I'm just ready to go home. As fun as it was, I'm just tired, ready to go. The cake was good. Pizza was good. That one place we went to with the Legion guys was cool. It was cool representing too. There was a lot of people who definitely recognize us through the jerseys, which was dope. Toby was playing some guy with his brother, and they're like talking about him. I think Toby, and then some. I think probably Daniel or Jose or something like that. And he looks at the jersey. Oh yeah, Legion lads. I'm like, yeah, dude. So it's cool starting to get some recognition on that.
What about you, Daniel?
I think I'd probably give it like an 8. I actually got sick after, so like Sunday I was sick, and then Monday I was sick, and so that brought down my experience pretty badly. But
Poor
other than
guy,
that,
man.
like it was a blast just to play Legion for a couple days, and it was fun just getting to do the road trip and all that. Like, yeah, it was a really great experience. But
Was it cold or what did you get sick of?
I don't
Some
know. I was
palm
just
crud or
You
I was
about
just
you
something.
down. Just like
guys?
my throat was bad, and I just sinuses. So
Well,
probably
dude,
just like a cold, but so it wasn't terrible, but it was just like how you just like feel bad for
Yeah.
like the next couple of
yeah,
days.
definitely.
I know
I
what
think
That was rough.
exhaustion, lack of proper hydration. People think when you're, dehydrating, slam water, and you're really supposed to be sipping on it because your body,
Right.
it'll start, going through it. And it's just hard, man. It's hard. We forget that we're in a desert. That AC sucked. It didn't work.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just, again, I was feeling that too. Not like, I felt like I was gonna have a cold throughout the whole thing. Like every morning I wake up and then it get better as well. And I think a lot of that was my throat was drying up, not hydrating
Mm.
properly. We weren't resting. We didn't know what to expect, so we were
You guys were
had a plan.
resting. That's
We're gonna take turns with your CPAP machine next year.
I will say, like, my chest was like aching when I got back, but I think it was from all that smoke getting filtered out.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh, yeah, that didn't feel good. But I'd give my experience, a 0 out of 10 because I didn't win. Not just for me, it was a 10 out of 10 because I got to what my goal was, top 8. It would have been cool to win again, but I got all the prizes. And then
Yeah, that was dope too. We forgot to
yeah.
talk about that. Everybody got cool swag, the cool
yeah,
dice.
lots of cool
all the-
stuff. Lots of cool
Yeah.
stuff. Hanging out with you guys was better this year because it was just me going up there last year. So hanging with you guys was a lot of fun. Going out to eat and stuff. That
It
pizza
enhances
place.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that pizza place. Next
That
year we'll get
place-
some more
yeah,
pizza.
for sure. Met a lot more guys this time around. Got to see the guys again from last LVO and just playing Legion. All the fun. It was 10 out of 10. Like there's very few things I find myself
10 out of
complaining
10.
about. So yeah, that was pretty good. All right. Before we leave, I just want to hit you guys up with our tradition of rules question. Got just 3 for you. Really, we'll lightning them. Does force push trigger free actions?
It's an action, so yes.
No, it's a
'cause
move.
It's a
You perform
move.
a speed 1 move, not a move action. Wait, do you mean the using force push or
Using
the move
force
off of
push is a
force
free
push?
action.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can trigger a standby off of it. Also, the move you can trigger a standby off of.
No,
I
so
think it
JR
means the
was
free
okay.
actions,
Yeah.
though.
Sorry. I'm talking about like can
The
a
move.
unit that like
relentless,
like
stuff
dewbacks.
like that.
Yeah,
right?
like dewbacks. If I force
No.
a
Oh,
dewback,
no.
Yeah,
no.
Okay.
no.
I think pulling the strings can do that, and then what was the one? Is it you serve your master well can do that as well?
Guidance can as well.
Guidance. What does guidance do? I've never seen it.
It
You
just
can
move or do an
an
action.
objective option.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So the dewback may not use relentless. The relentless keyword only triggers off a move action. A force push only provides a speed 1 move.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The next one is this is the one, Daniel. I
Kidney
know
stone.
me and you were talking about. I don't know if you looked it up, but I hadn't looked it up since our last conversation. Can you force push something off a building?
No.
No.
Yep, same reason. It is not a move. Climb is considered a move, the standard move or move action, and force push is not considered any
Yeah.
of those things.
Climb is not a speed 1 move.
Right.
Yeah. The last one I kind of want to just touch up. I know Jose already talked about it. Well, this is
As
the
a
second.
newly adopted force
Yeah.
user
This
who's
is
retiring from
welcome
the
to
gun
the
line,
dark side. Welcome.
and then who has search to block, I really appreciate this, especially
Well,
seeing it in action.
This is the second to my last question because the last one kind of caught me off guard. But can you spin a dodge? Can you guardian and spin a dodge on a high velocity shot?
Yeah.
You're not the target. You're shooting
You're
at
not
somebody else.
defending. Yeah.
But you're guardian, but spinning a dodge to do it. Like sword mastery.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I feel like you shouldn't be able to, but I think you can.
You could. Yeah.
Because the new timing.
No, I agree with Daniel though.
Yeah.
So with
I agree.
the new timing now, I was up in arms about the new timing, not anymore because it benefits me. But so with the new timing now, you have to apply dodge and cover before guardian, protector, or anything else. So because high velocity is in the spend dodge window, you cannot use a dodge in that shot. But since guardian happens after that timing window, you can now guardian the high velocity shot.
So what you're saying is they messed up? Yeah, I understand.
No, I'm saying it's perfectly balanced as all things should be.
The last question, and I think it's important because Roman, I know you want to plug this in at the end of it, is we got a bounty tournament coming up.
Yes.
And this one is, can you claim a bounty off of a guardian? An example is if Boba Fett guardians Chewie and Chewie guardians off a Boba shot for another unit, it ends up killing Chewie, does Boba get that bounty?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
It's the same as poison tokens where it's just and stims.
Sims. Yeah.
What do you think, Jose?
I'm gonna say no, just to be the opposite side.
Just to be contrarian.
Yes, you do get the bounty. So that's important to know that if you're being a guardian and you have a bounty on you, and the bounty person shoots something else, and you guardian, you die, you give up your bounty.
That's a wild interaction.
There was another one like that too that I was wondering. So like, what about if you're being transported? Because you know how you just take the damage now and you get pooped out.
Mhm.
Does that get you bounty? Like if you try to run, if you try to run away with your guy and then you kill the vehicle and then the vehicle pops you out,
Ooh, that's
You
a
take that
good
wound.
one.
I think so.
I'd have to
because
look that
I
up.
think
the
anything that
philosophy is any damage that comes from the bounty hunter. So even if it's not spelled out, then I would assume it does.
But is that
Right.
wound actually coming from the bounty hunter? It's coming from the rules, not the
But
It's
bounty
he,
hunter.
coming from the explosion that the bounty hunter
mechanic of the
yeah,
caused.
game,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he blew it
Same as
up.
the poison that the bounty hunter caused, or the failed stim recovery that the bounty hunter caused.
I'll have
Got
to
it.
double check, but I would assume you're right because it seems like every ruling they've made is in favor of the bounty shot.
The
Like,
bounty is
Yeah.
already so hard to get, dude. Like
Yeah.
it's so hard to
I'm
get.
taking it wherever I can get it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
What do you guys think? Talking about the bounty hunter event, what do you guys think about the high profile target on the Republic? You guys think that's fair? 10 points to be able to cash it in
So
for
so before you go into that, I wanted to have you talk about the event because I know it's in 6 days, and just to give everybody who watches this, because we posted in JR posted in ones. So just go over what the event is, Roman, so people have more
so
information
it's
before we go
a
into
at
that.
home event. You're basically the 3 rounds. You're trying to score up as many league points as you can, and winning, losing, or winning is gonna get you victory points or league points. Playing at the shop, and it doesn't have to be on a Star Wars day, just any day out of the week will get you another victory point. And then bounties is what's gonna get you a lot of victory points too. If you have the more bounty hunters you have, the more opportunity you have to get bounties, get more victory points or league points. Because what you're trying to do is trying to be in that top 4 standing after the 3 rounds are done, because then we're going to do a 2 round final, so it'll be first place fourth, second place third, winner that goes on to the finals, and then those 2 losers play for the third place. And then we'll have top 4 prizing. There's gonna be promos for everyone. But yeah, I just wanted to do a bounty hunting event because obviously I love bounty hunters, but it's just fun to have just like unconventional warfare, just having different types of playing the game, incentivizing you to play stuff you normally wouldn't, right? Like there's a lot of people who wouldn't run bounty hunters, but now it's like, there's incentive to do it. But I also wanted to make it worthwhile for Republic players where it's like, yeah, we'll give you some way of getting
The
at least,
homebrew add-on.
yeah, the homebrew add-on, exactly. So it'll be like the way I did it is you can score the bounty for the points of or for the purposes of the league. So let's just say you had a Jedi or an officer, Padme or whatever, and they threw a bounty on there, and she stays alive the whole game, or Anakin stays alive the whole game, or Rex or whatever. You can cash that bounty in for league points, basically for credits, just to give you an incentive and to not feel like you're like, oh damn, I can't even get bonus points. It's like you can do it,
yeah.
but there's also you got to pay for it. It's 10-point upgrade, the high profile target upgrade, and then you are putting more guys at risk, right? Like it might be by your opponent throwing that bounty on him. You might not want to put him up in the fray as much, like an Anakin or an Obi-Wan or whatever, because now if you lose them, not only are you losing a Jedi or a commander, but you're also giving them 2 points. So I feel like that's somewhat fair for the most part. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, this is the
The
first one.
buy-in
Yeah, I'd
for
like
players.
to yeah, and I'd like to run this event once a year at the very least. I already threw out my first promo yesterday, I think day before yesterday. So it's fun, man. I'm trying to make it all thematic too. Like, I'll be definitely playing like a little narrative with all the games and the rounds and stuff. Just depending on who's playing who. So I'm looking forward to that. And then after that, we'll be doing a Battle Force League as well.
Hell yeah. Your comment or to answer your question about the high profile target, I feel like it's a little bit not fair. I mean, I like the concept. I like the fun factor of it. I like it, definitely Gar being a part of the bounty war because unfortunately I don't have a bounty. The only thing is that my one concern is that it gives you an incentive to your opponent have to come after you, like to get the bounty. You could just run away with it. I'm glad it doesn't
But
score for
the
like
opponent's doing that anyways. The opponent's
True.
doing
Yeah.
that anyways.
True, but it gives
Yeah.
it gives them more incentive of just like I'm just gonna hide behind this building for the rest of the game.
Right. But what
I
if it's
mean-
a guy that they need, right? Like Rex. So you're gonna have your Rex out of the game the
no,
whole time.
I agree. I agree. My
And-
other,
And you can't hide from bounty hunters like Boba, who can jump up
And-
speed 3.
Maybe take a
And-
lat.
Yeah. And
My-
not just that, it would you would be putting 10 points on all your guys, because then they can be like, oh, he doesn't have a high profile target on this guy, I'll throw the bounty on that guy then.
True.
So you're tacking on 10 points to whatever operative or commander you have now as well. And then that's points that get taken away from your regular list. So again, there's gonna be, I feel like, a balance of going back and forth where there might be some games where it's gonna swing the other way. We're gonna be like, fuck, I can't do anything. I just lost 4, league points because he's just ran away the whole game. But then I'll win 3 points, for winning the game because all
Playing
those
at
guys
the
ran away.
shop.
Right.
exactly. There's different. There's going to be more. Because I think I did it 3 points for victory, 0 for losing, -1 for conceding, and then it was like +2 for each bounty you get, and then +1 for the playing at the shop at all. So again, like there's ways of balancing it out. I mean, you'll get the same amount of points if you play at the shop, and if you win by having them run their guys away, then they will by losing and getting the 2 bounties. So again, like it'll balance. I feel like it'll balance back and forth.
Like I said, I like the fun factor of it, and I think that's pretty cool because you don't want to exclude guard. My next question though was, are this going to stay the same throughout the whole tournament?
Yeah. For this one, it'll stay the same. For the Battle Force League, every round you'll be able to change it as long as it meets the parameters of the Battle Force. So if you're playing Blizzard Force, you can change it. You don't have to run the quad bike. You might run.
But you have to stick with Blizzard Force.
You have to stick with the one you went in with, though.
That's kind of cool.
So I like that idea, especially.
Let's wait for Blizzard Force to get nerfed first before.
I'm bringing Blizzard Force, guys.
Halfway
Double
through
ATS.
I got PTSD from Blizzard Force, man.
Now I think luckily our play group in town has a good variety when it comes to weird stuff. I'm excited to see what everybody brings by. Not everybody plays super meta stuff. Even JR, again, you played a Shadow Collective, one of 3 players, at the whole event. So again, I think everybody likes playing what they like playing. You don't have a whole lot of people chasing the meta a whole lot. Again, I'm very happy. I was just talking to one of my guys yesterday about Omar and them. I'm really happy with the community. Oh no, not Omar. It was one of my comic book guys. He's looking at playing board games, and he saw the Jose and Toby and Omar and Edward playing. And he's asking about them. Like, yeah, just our Legion community is probably the nicest, coolest, chillest community we have. So I'm very happy. I know we were talking about on the way there and back about, except for Jose. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I was talking about.
I'm an asshole. I did it at a main event. Move that token back over there.
But no, I know I talked about it a good amount, but I'm very fortunate to have the community we have. I don't think we have any really bad attitude players except for Edward. That guy's a bully, dude.
He's a jerk.
But I'm glad again a lot of our newer guys have gotten, or our newly competitive guys have gotten really good really fast. Daniel and Toby being 2 of them that I've only known for maybe about a year playing competitively, and they've just shot up. And I think a lot of
that train with JR, dude.
I would say we have JR with the hyperbolic time chamber. Nick too. People sleep on Nick. Nick's a really good, really technical player, and he's nice too. So he's gonna help you out.
See, I always tell Nick, I go, Nick, you're a really good player. You just don't like to play meta stuff. Like you just like to have fun with whatever. Yeah. And so, because he always says, like, I'm not a good player. Like,
well, at least whenever he plays, you got a -17 points because he's bringing Grogu. So that's your advantage right there.
He's gonna find a way, right? He's like, I know I'm playing Gar, but Grogu's here.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining. Roman, you want to plug anything?
Yeah. So I haven't had a chance to do it. We got an episode from a few months ago for Legion lads. I just had a lot of stuff pop up, especially health problems with my mom at the time. So I just things kind of fell out, but I'm hoping to do that again. I'll edit and upload the first episode and then start recording more of those for the Legion lads podcast. Will be like in person. Really fun format. I feel like people are going to enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. And then Omar and I on that same channel will be starting a series called Paint Pals, which anybody's free to join if they want to. But the idea is we're gonna pick a unit, and then we'll basically on our own record our process of from prepping to building to painting and finishing it up, and just showing, because everybody builds and paints completely different. So I think it'll be fun just to show people's like little progress. So it's kind of like in the vein of those old like reality shows where some like Top Gear or whatever. It's like, oh, they get X amount of money or whatever, they're getting similar cars, and let's see what they do with them or whatever. So I feel like that'd be fun just to show the comparison. So next Friday we're picking up the Dark Troopers, and that'll be the first unit we're showing off. I'll show you guys how I plan. And again, it's fun because people not only have different techniques, but they have different mindsets of like, I don't want to do this screen accurate, or I want to do it themed like this, like my beach party short troopers. So I think that'll be fun. Keep an eye out for that as well. And then that's pretty much it.
I'm gonna say, like, I loved it when I did the improv on your last Legion lads.
Because,
like, it takes you out of that comfortable spot, and it makes you.
It puts you on your toes.
Yeah.
Toby on the casting couch.
Oh yeah. So for the Legion Lads podcast, the way we format is we do a line read at the beginning to open it up, so it'll be a quick little scene with guys, and then we'll just bring up general Star Wars news, which Legion's at the time. Again, it'll be a little dated because I think that first episode they just announced a release date for Mando, right? Because this was back in October, maybe September. And then we'll talk about just different Star Wars news in general. And we wrap it up with improv, and it'll be different scenes. So keep an eye out for that. And man, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks
All right.
for inviting me on the Lost Legion podcast. It's always fun hanging and talking with you boys.
Heck yeah. It's like my goal is just to grow the community. That's all I want to
Yeah,
do.
man.
Let's keep growing it, get big as like
Yeah,
represent.
I was talking to someone. I'm very proud of you, Joe. You've gotten a lot better when it comes to being a community member. Because you've always been cool, but before it was very hard to build a community
Watch
when
you
you're just
murder
stomping on
people.
people's necks.
Yeah, I
the
know.
youngling
I
killer,
know.
Master
I
Anakin
know.
over here.
He
Oh,
did.
man.
He did change because now Edward's like, "Hey, JR, you want to play?"
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
played me twice.
Yeah,
He's
Okay.
taking
Edward's
all
getting better
comers now,
too.
dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ed's like on a mission.
And Edward's getting better
I
too.
I got the feedback. It's like, all right, I gotta lighten up and not. It's hard. Anyways, move on. Okay. All right, boys. Thank you guys for joining me. You guys have a good day. See you guys later.
Adios.